Alright, let's get into the first matchup of IEM Cologne 2025 Stage 1, and Virtus.pro are here to remind everyone they're not done yet. They came out swinging against TYLOO and got revenge for the loss at Fisher Playground with a clean 2-0 sweep. Starting on Inferno, which was actually TYLOO's pick, you'd think they'd have some sort of advantage, but it was Fame who put up a wall on B site and just shut it down completely. 3 multi-kills rounds from him helped VP claw it back to 6-6 by the half, and then they just took over, running it to a dominant 13-7 finish. Jamyong was the only real resistance for TYLOO with 20 kills, but it wasn't enough. Then came Overpass, and VP wasted no time showing their comfy on the new map. Starting T-side, they took a 7-5 lead into the half and then shut it down on the defense. A quick pistol round win, a clean hold against the Tech 9 rush, and they closed it out 13-5. Perfecto and Flip were locked in. This was a huge win for Virtus.pro, not just because they knocked TYLOO down, but because this team needed a result. They bombed out of the Blast Austin Major and took L's at Fisher Playground to TYLOO and MIBR. After picking up Perfecto in the off-season, people were starting to question where this team was heading. So this win, it matters. TYLOO, on the other hand, had been riding a 5-game win streak coming into this, including that run at FPG where they beat VP to kick things off. But now they're headed to the lower bracket where they'll face Complexity, tough bounce back spot. But, as they say here, we lost the first match 0-2 against Virtus.pro. We will make adjustments, learn from this experience, and prepare for the next match. Just a quick shout out to... Today is Jamyong's 24th birthday, and some fans actually surprised him with what looks like they're a cake, which I thought was really nice to see. Hopefully he has a great day, although that loss has to hurt. But yeah, happy birthday, Jamyong. Next up for Virtus.pro is GamerLegion. Well, TYLOO have to scrap it out for the lower bracket. Alright, on to the second match of IEM Cologne Stage 1, and GamerLegion came in locked against Complexity, picking up a 2-0 win and looking way sharper than they did at Fisher Playground last week. This was actually a big bounce back for GamerLegion after that quarterfinal loss to MIBR, and what stands out is they finally won on Inferno, which has been a problem map for them lately. They were 2-6 in their last 8 attempts, but they came out firing and smoked Complexity 13-3. Torsen was the guy who really set the tone early. Guy pulled off 3 clutch rounds in the first half alone, just constantly denying Complexity any momentum. GamerLegion's A site was a little shaky at times, but Complexity couldn't capitalise. Then we go to Nuke. And yeah, Complexity haven't been looking great on this map lately. Now, 1-4 in their last 5. GamerLegion had some shaky CT moments, but they still closed it out 13-10. One of the highlights was a sick little 2v4 from Rez and PR that turned around and basically iced the game. Speaking of, they both dropped massive numbers. Rez finished 36 and 22 with a 1.46 rating, and PR wasn't far behind at 1.39. Kersey also looked much more confident this series, not just with the op, but actually had solid rifle impact too. You can tell they're easing him into tier 1 CS, but this was probably his best showing so far. Also, GamerLegion's quick coach was hyped about Overpass being back in the pool, but interestingly they banned it here. Probably just playing it safe with the short prep time between events, but they might not be able to dodge it much longer. They've got Virtus.pro up next in the upper bracket, and we know Virtus.pro is comfy on that map. Meanwhile, for Complexity, yeah, rough series. JT and Grim were both off today, and the whole team just looked out of sync. They dropped down to the lower bracket and now face TYLOO, who will also be desperate to bounce back. Anyway, solid W for GamerLegion, who are now just 1 match away from qualifying for Stage 2 of Cologne. But yeah, moving on to the next series, Astralis just got their revenge after getting denied a major spot by Bait earlier this year. The Danes came into Cologne with something to prove, and yeah, they made sure everyone knew before was online. They kicked things off on Mirage, and it was just domination from the start. Astralis jumped out to a 10-2 lead on the CT side, and all 3 riflers were popping off. Jabby opened the game with a crisp USB triple, Stavin locked down Catwalk with a quick 4K, and Styard had a nice transfer round to swing the momentum even harder. Now, Inferno was way closer, both pistols went Bait's way, and it looked like they might pull off a map steal, especially after going up 11-8. But Jabby's lurks were on point. Stavin clutched a 1v2 to keep them alive, and even pulled off a 1v3 on 8. It's absolute crazy. The Vice was quiet early, like very quiet. He was 0-6 at one point, but he came alive right when they needed him in OT. A 3k on balcony helped close it out 16-12, and just like that, Astralis walk away with a clean 2-0 and a bit of closure. There was a long tech pause mid-series because of a Steam outage, which could have thrown them off, but to be fair, they looked pretty locked in across the board. Jabby finished the series with a monster 1.58 rating and 42 frags. That's absolutely crazy. This wasn't just revenge, it's also a big confidence boost under Hooksy. Jabby actually talked about it pre-game, saying Hooksy brings more structure and sticks to the game plan way more than Cadian used to. And we've been hearing similar things from players like Twists and Yakinda, so it's got to make you think, right? Also interesting, they haven't shown Overpass yet, which we know Device and Hooksy love. They're saving it for later, probably smart considering they just played that full FPG final and had no time to prep. So Astralis moved forward with a clean win and Bait dropped down to the lower bracket, and honestly they'll probably be kicking themselves. Inferno was there to take and they just couldn't close it. Also, just to add, it is also Jabby's birthday, so shout out Jabby also. I hope he has a wonderful day. Yeah, happy birthday, Jabby. But moving on, FURIA have spoiled JKS's FlyQuest debut at IEM Cologne. But let's be real, that series was way closer than a 2-1 might suggest. We kicked things off on Inferno, FlyQuest's pick, and JKS wasted no time making a statement. A 1v3 clutch in round 4, killing the diffuser in the smoke, proper hero moment. They went up 6-1 and looked sharp out the gate. But from there, full FURIA takeover. They rattled off 12 of the next 13 rounds, absolutely shut FlyQuest down. Molodoi and Yakinda started heating up, and once the momentum flipped, it was over. FURIA closed it out 13-7. Now, Dust 2 was a marathon. After a long tech pause, FlyQuest came out swinging again, going 4-0 up, but of course, just like map 1, 6-6 at the half. FURIA took the second pistol off a sick Yuri triple from Car, and both teams just started trading rounds like mad. We went 2 full sets of overtime, absolute chaos, but FlyQuest finally pulled ahead 4-2 in the final OT to win it 19-7 and force a Mirage decider. Carnage. And even then, it was kind of more of the same. JKS had a strong start with back-to-back triples and a pistol round win, putting FlyQuest up 3-0, and you already know, 6-6 at the half again. FURIA came out swinging on the T side, got up to 12-9, but JKS tried to bring it back with a huge quad kill clutch that made it 12-10, but it wasn't enough. FURIA shut it down the very next round and ended this series 2-1. JKS actually finished as FlyQuest's highest rated player on debut, 56 kills across the 3 maps. Guy was showing up, but Yuri and Kesarari were just too solid, and Yakinda chipped in with some crazy impact, especially on those early B defenses. FURIA now move on to face Astralis in the upper bracket decider, and honestly that one's going to be fire. FlyQuest drop down to the lower bracket where they'll face Bait. Not the easiest bounce back match, especially after a draining loss like that. It has to break them a little bit mentally. But if you want more CS2 updates like this, don't forget to drop a like and a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, thanks for watching. Take care.